Hey everybody, I have a video here for you today, and this is for the people that have been leaving me the nasty comments and sending me the messages. And I fully expected to get backlash in my Shroud videos, but this is something I am quite confident of, and I've looked at every single aspect that I could possibly find to this story. So if you want to ask me questions, or, I'm sure there are tons of questions people have. I have thousands of them, so no question is too stupid to my subscribers if they want to ask me some questions. But I thought I would make a video here today. Those people who are calling me the nasty names, God, I've never been called, never mind. But this is a video for you people now. I think you people need a little Bible lesson. This is Acts 10:11, and people say this is the vision of Peter, and this is actually the vision of Simon, known as Peter. That's what it says in the Bible, New Testament. But it is not Simon, known as Peter. Peter's put in there to confuse you, and that's true throughout the whole New Testament. There are so many people with same versions of the same name, and you can't figure out who's who, and it's all a big mess. But Simon, known as Peter, you got to look at the original text. The original text is very telling, and sometimes words have 3 or 4 different meanings, so you got to really look at what it truly says. So, Simon, known as Peter. It's not Peter in the original, it's Petra, and there's a very distinct meaning of Petra. It is a solid, immovable rock. It is Simon, known as a solid, immovable rock. Now, let's read a little further. Right here. Now, who is this Petra rock on which Christ built his true church? Let the Holy Bible again give the answer. If the Bible gives the answer, we make no mistake in accepting it because the definition is authentic. And these are quotes from the Bible. They drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock, Petra in Greek, was Christ. Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone. He is the rock. His work is perfect. That's coming from Deuteronomy and Samuel, and there's other ones from different places in the New Testament. It's Simon, known as Petra, Simon, known as the rock. And who is that? That is Christ. This is the vision of Simon, known as Petra, the rock, or Christ. It says, and saw heaven open, and a certain vessel descending upon him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the 4 corners, and let down to the earth. And when I originally read this, I thought, God, great sheet? Well, that's too obvious. They went, that's too obvious. That can't refer to the shroud. Well, I did some investigation, and I have always said the shroud. Why isn't the shroud on the cover of the Bible? It's a 2,000-year-old relic. And it's the greatest proof of the resurrection story in the New Testament. It should be the symbol of the Bible. And that is just the question that led me to think that there was a lost story here, and it's just weird. And it was. It was researching this. It was very weird and very fascinating. Now, let's look at what this word for great sheet means in the original text. I think that might tell us something. Here's that word right here. What does that mean? What does the original word for great sheet mean? A great linen cloth, or wrapper. So a great linen cloth used to wrap something, like the body of Simon. An emblem of the gospel. That word means an emblem of the gospel also. Now, why would a great linen cloth be the emblem, the symbol of the gospel? And that's what emblem means. It means pretty much the symbol or representation of. Extending to all nations of men. I said it was the catalyst that led to the spread of Christianity. And Rome couldn't do a thing about it, so they created their own version known as the New Testament. That original word tells the whole story. Everything I've been saying about the shroud, right there. Now, this word, original word right after, tied at the 4 corners. And the word above it here kind of refers to something, a utensil, a household things. And many people have said this is the tablecloth from heaven. Well, I've referred to the Da Vinci Code a few times, and people say this is the precise moment that the Holy Grail makes its appearance. The great sheet, the tablecloth from heaven. A pope, right after Rome converted to Christianity, said that Holy Communion should be served on the clean burial shroud of Christ. The blood, and represented by the wine, bread representing the body, served on the clean burial shroud of Christ. They say this is the moment the Holy Grail makes its appearance. Everybody's looking at cups. Well, there's the tablecloth from heaven. There's the great sheet described in Acts in the Bible. Now let's take a look at this thing from heaven here after the great sheet. It says, tied at the four corners. This great sheet was tied at the four corners. Well, let's look at Da Vinci's here. Corners are tied. Other artists later in history represented it the same way here, tied at the four corners. People have looked at this and associated it with the Holy Grail. Well, it's right in front of you people. Just thought I would point that out. And the Templars had it, and it was their great secret. People said they were evil demon worshippers. But actually, they knew the whole story of Simon Magus, and that was their guy. They were the poor knights of Christ, and that fits in perfectly with how the people of Masada and Qumran, the Dead Sea Scrolls, were talked about by writers such as Josephus and Eusebius. Now, Baphomet. That was their great secret. Ooh, evil devil worshippers, Baphomet. Well, you put Baphomet into the Appa cipher, and the word Sophia comes out. And that word is peppered throughout the teachings and doctrine of Simon Magus in that original book, which does no longer exist, or at least no original copies of it exist. It was called The Four Quarters of the World. That was the name of the original book that eventually evolved into the Roman version we call the New Testament. And this is a mosaic from the Hagia Sophia, where the shroud was kept for a few centuries, about 1,000 years ago. I needed to mention that. But Baphomet was clear reference to the shroud. And I thought I would show you this. This is the fall of Simon Magus. Ancient picture from ancient Rome. And here, this might be the earliest representation of Baphomet. Found hooved demonic creature. That is Baphomet. That is where the whole Knights Templar Baphomet thing comes from. They had the Holy Shroud, and it was their great secret. But, man, I am exhausted talking about the shroud. Please leave questions if you have any. I'm sure you have many. People, especially if you haven't watched a lot of my shroud videos, I will leave links below for my playlist and a few specific videos. But I am not trying to, discredit anybody's spirituality here. I realize there is a spiritual tale, and if people can read something and it makes them be better people in their real lives, beautiful. That's great. And then nothing I say matters. I'm just interested in what really happened. And I try to put all biases and agendas aside, and that's the most important thing for a researcher to do. And obviously other people researching the shroud, that was not the case. So I just wanted to present real lost history. And I have really put hundreds and hundreds of hours into researching this, and it's the most fascinating thing I've ever researched. And if you have any questions, please leave them. If you have any nasty comments for them, you can leave those too. I always find those entertaining. But the Bible has confirmed, the original text has confirmed everything I have said about the shroud. Hope you thought this was interesting. Have a nice day.